Good morning. It's 9:30 a.m. It's Thursday, May 18th. The Richland County Board of Commissioners is now in session. I'm Richland County Commissioner Cliff Mears, joined by fellow commissioners Tony Vero, Darrell Banks, our clerk Stacy Kroll, enjoying her 25th anniversary with the county today. Hooray for Stacy. We have quite a few chairs in the congregation occupied today. We have Adam Gove, the county engineer, Andrew Keller, our county commissioner, Captain Blunk from the jail, our county auditor, Pat Dropsy. From IT, we have Matt Hill, Aaron Lemaster, Josh Hicks, Mr. Morgenstern is here, and Lori Bedson from JFS, also in the audience today. So our first order of business is to talk about vending machine. Oh, and online we have Ellen Carl. Our first order of business is to talk about the vending machines at the jail. Looks like we have a change on, and would you like to explain that to us, Captain?
Just the change in providers from Cuyahoga Vending to the Rain Music and Vending Company. No cost.
They play songs for you when you get your Snickers bar or what?
No.
Okay.
I think it
Wasn't
better,
sure. I saw the Rain Music Company.
better variety. I think
Flashing lights when you order it or anything?
Nice.
Studio 54? Okay.
To be in the jukebox.
just morale, that'd be nice.
Okay.
Disco ball goes around.
Right. I was
Yeah, so I think better variety and hopefully better.
motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
Captain, before you go, I'll ask if there's any questions from the media on the vending contract.
Yeah, Cam, is this an annual contract? When you say there's no change, is this something that the county doesn't pay anything for? It simply provides the space for the company to put the machines in? How does it work?
Yeah, I think this is a 2-year agreement. And yes, I just face it, it doesn't cost anything.
What sorts of things are just a few examples of the things that the inmates get from the vending machines?
It's not, let's make this, it's not inmates, it's staff that are inside the jail. It's actually in the secure perimeter of the jail. So it's any staff members for the county jail, not inmates. So, and it's any cold beverage and snacks.
Yeah, I'm glad I asked that question. Thanks, Captain.
Al, any question?
No, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Captain.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Next up, we have Adam Gope talking about a series of things.
Jeez.
What's up first?
You have an agenda.
Yeah, looks like a couple right-of-way parcels for a couple of our bridge projects. Right-of-way on Tucker Road and right-of-way on Falk Road. Bridge projects.
One on Tucker Road's a gift. One on Falk Road is $400.
Motion.
Second.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
And next, Roxel.
We are getting ready to go out to bid our county contract for our annual rock salt material. So basically just asking for authorization to advertise and open on, do you remember the date, Stacy? June 8th? Thank you.
No coincidence. 10:30 a.m. thing today.
And this is the contract that covers part of our material that we use at the County Highway Department. And there are also 7 municipalities and 17 townships that take in this contract with us.
This is in addition to our state contract.
Correct, yeah.
I'll make the motion that we advertise for bids.
Second.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yeah.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
Okay.
Then we have requests to advertise and open 3 bridge replacement projects, Hollisburg Fitchville Road, Lynn Road, and Tucker Road.
Motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yeah.
Rivera.
Yes.
The last item I've got on the agenda for you, Adam, is seal coating contract.
Yes, we have, we accepted cook bids, May 11th last week to our Bid Express program. We had 3 bidders for our seal coating project. The apparent low was Earthworm Construction out of Iberia with a bid of $876,530.32. The engineer's estimate for this project was $799,062.41. This is more than our estimate, but less than 10% over that estimate, so we are able to award a contract. The one thing I did want to point out, so that it's on the record, is when we opened these bids last Thursday, Earthworms was tagged as responsive. I talked with the contractor after the bid, and there was a glitch. This isn't our online bid system. There was a glitch. He wasn't able to check the box for whatever reason. But he did upload his document that shows that he is ODOT pre-qualified for this type of work. So he did meet all the requirements of our bid, but I would like to just kind of waive that informality of showing as unresponsive initially, but
Okay. Feel that clarification. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Commissioner Rivera.
Yes.
Do you have anything else for us, Adam?
I did want to talk about maybe another ARPA request. We have a project to rebuild Noble Road between the old entrance at Rumpke to their new entrance, which was built, I believe, about 2 years ago. That section of road was never upgraded to handle the type of truck traffic that's been using it. I believe we get over 400 trucks a day through that section of roadway. It's in terrible shape. We've actually had the road closed, I believe, for about a year. So that is a project I would like to move forward with. We have an estimate of about $665,000 for just rebuilding that. I believe it's about 1,800 feet of roadway. We did receive an OPWC grant for a portion of that work. They'll cover approximately $280,000. Solid Waste is chipping in to help with that cost as well. I had 125, but that's 150,000 that they're willing to put towards that project. So that means the local funds would be approximately 235,000
Our cost, county's cost.
cost, local funds. The reason I'm asking for that is, so the other project that's listed on if you see a summary there, is Ollisburg Fitchville, which we just authorized to advertise. Originally applied for an OPWC grant to cover costs for that project last fall. It was not awarded county. So we are having to move forward with all local funds on that project. I was planning on having at least half of that covered by OPWC. So in order to move forward with both of these projects, I would need an additional, let's say, 235,000 for local funds to cover Noble Road project. Talking with Andrew, I believe we can cover these with the restricted ARPA. Even though there is still some lost revenue shown from the last spreadsheet I provided that showed over $1 million of lost revenue.
Yeah, but you included January, February, and March of 2020.
Okay,
Yeah, you did.
I just took what CEAO gave me. So,
Those are pre-pandemic months. You don't get counting for that. You don't get a loss for that.
okay. So I guess that's my cost for consideration is 235,000 in ARPA.
Had that in lost revenue, but this would be restricted, Andrew, because they've changed that, right?
Which is going to be convenient, because I have noticed in my email, we're gonna have to move some
some of our revenue premium pay dollars into revenue loss because the public health emergency was canceled.
Well, it's certainly, the road certainly needs it, and kudos to solid waste because did such a good job out there with their budgeting and expenses and revenues that afford to give you $150,000.
Yes, that's very much appreciated. I think it's the first time that we've actually worked together with them on a project to secure funding.
Eddie Hale and staff out there have done a wonderful job.
And trustees.
Yeah. I am one, so I can say that, okay?
Need a motion to proceed on this then?
Yes, I think we will.
So Adam, just real quick though, will this be your last? So,
I make the motion.
You know what, is all we really need today is what we, call our head down.
what I'm calling
Okay.
this though, I just want to be clear, I'm counting, I won't speak for the other two. Even though this will be moved over to the restricted, I'm viewing it as combining the restricted and the revenue loss to make up your total revenue loss, which you had sent out.
Okay.
Okay. Can't be like, well, you only gave me 800 in revenue loss and I showed 1 million if we moved 200 and something thousand over to the restricted.
I'm not saying I won't be back.
Oh, I have no doubt. I'm just saying that's all I'm looking
Project.
at it. As
That wouldn't
I gain some experience, I know all you,
Well, Jimmy Gove, it's nice to have you.
I know.
I see the amount that's being put out towards the sheriff.
As long as I get in the minutes, January, February, March don't count and this still counts as part of your revenue loss.
It's like running the gauntlet when you come here.
I'll second that then.
Are we really making a motion? Drew?
We need not today because the ARPA award will come later, as long as the commissioners can put in the minutes that they're supportive of it, and then Adam and I will work together to underwrite.
Maybe unanimous support.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that. up. Thank you for considering Noble Road.
It's past time.
Okay, thanks. Al, do you have any, pardon me?
Al, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Adam, what are your estimates on those bridge projects?
So Tucker Road estimate is 405,000 even. And that is, we do have a state grant that covers 80% of that cost. Hollisburg Fitchville, this is for setting a box and the precast wings. And that estimate is $145,275. And that is, again, 100% local money, auto license and gas and license plate revenue. Lynn Road is $391,250. And that does have an OPWC grant that will cover 40% of the costs.
Okay, sounds good.
That it, Al?
Yes.
Okay,
If we approve that, just an update, Andrew, I know you and I keep doing spreadsheets. I show we would still have a remaining ARPA balance of 11.6 million, and that's in terms of what we formally approved, we expect. That sound about right?
They're using 235, 60
Or which?
for the engineer's request.
I'm using 260 for this right now, and then I change it once we get the formal notice of award. That sound about right?
Carl, anything for Adam?
Yeah, sorry. Adam, my sound kind of cut out. The Earthform Iberia, the Earthform bid was 876,530.32.
Correct.
And your estimate, this word sound really kind of cut out for me. 799,062.41.
That's correct.
Okay. So that was more than the estimate, but less than 10% more, so the bid can be awarded.
That's correct.
Okay. I think that's all I had. At some point, I need to talk to you about the combined ditch project. I missed the wonderful public meeting the other night, but I hear it was quite eventful. So maybe first of next week, I'll give you a call and you can fill me in.
Make sure you double check his numbers, Carl.
Well, it's fake news, fake math. I can't tell.
Or bogus math, by the
I
way.
have bogus math. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Adam. Thank you. Okay, Lori, would you like to talk to us about somebody you have in mind?
Have an update on our hiring process for the executive director for the Youth and Family Council. After going through a search committee with the council and then recommendation to the Board of Commissioners to interview 2 candidates. The Board of Commissioners advised me to get references on both of those candidates. We've been through that process. And then based on all of that, I was approved by the commissioners to go ahead and make an offer of employment to Michelle Miller, who was one of the candidates interviewed, so that we could then finalize our reference check by getting a motor vehicle registration report. That came back and met the requirements for the county. So I am here today to just seek approval to employ Michelle Miller in that position as executive director with a starting hourly rate of $34.19. And she has indicated that her start date could be June 1st of 2023.
Is that again, 3419?
$34.19.
And what's the start date?
June 1st, 2023.
That's pretty firm.
Yes, she will finish her
Earlier than
contract with the school.
anticipated, right?
Yes. Yes. She finishes her contract with the school as of the 26th. That's her last day with children, and she is on contract. So as soon as she's done with the children, she's basically done for the year.
She have probation.
Yes, she will have probation. We've been making it equivalent to what we offer in our agency, which is about 9 months.
Motion.
Second,
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
yes,
Commissioner Barrow.
Yes.
Thank you, Lori. That was a lot of work, a lot of,
it was.
but I think we got the right candidate.
Thank you.
Carl, any question on the hire for Lori?
Yeah, a couple ways we could do this, Lori. Either do you have a resume for Michelle that you could send to us, or can you just tell us a little bit about Michelle in terms of her background and qualifications for the job?
Well, I can tell you a little bit about her background, but I can also send the resume to you, so you have that. Michelle has worked as a school teacher in several different districts. She was a school teacher for the Charlotte Mecklenburg School District in 2000. See if I can get this. I believe it was 2006 to 2009. Yes. And then she has also worked as a Help Me Grow service coordinator, which is comparable to, she would be directing that program with our Youth and Family Council, but she actually worked as a service coordinator in Help Me Grow in Franklin County from 2015 to 2019. And then she has been working with the Columbus City Schools in several different capacities as a contracted teacher. She worked as an early childhood advocate for several years, and then she has currently been working as a K-3 literacy specialist for the Columbus City Schools.
Yeah, and when the 2 folks that you interviewed, what kind of jumped out for you that said Michelle was the right person? What was the biggest differentiation between the 2?
I think it probably just her background with the actual youth and family council types of services, the service coordination. She has also, as part of her contract work with the Columbus City Schools, she worked on a homelessness project in which she worked with high school students who were homeless in the system. She said that they worked with roughly 2,000 students who were homeless, providing assistance to them to reach out and make sure they had all of the services they needed, and then could continue to go to school, making sure that all their needs were met so they could be in school. And then just her own life experiences. She has had some experience in her own life with her with a child in the early intervention system.
Would you say you asked him to do a project? Her project, she shined on that.
Yes, they were asked to, the candidates that were interviewed by the Youth and Family Council were asked to present what they felt the council stood for in the community, what services might be provided. She was able to go out to, without very little information given to her about the position locally, she was able to go out onto the local website, state website, and glean the information and interpret it. Plus, she even offered some suggestions in how she might make our local system. She would recommend making the local system a little stronger, as well as our actual website for the system that she felt needed to be more accessible to families that need those services.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Al, do you have any questions for Lori?
No, other than if she could send me the resume too, if she's gonna send it to Carl.
Sure, I will get those emails from Stacy.
So much. Mr. Dropsy.
Where's my dad?
I knew you were gonna say that.
We won't take up much of your time. We're just here to just give you a little demonstration on something we just added to the website that went live yesterday.
Doing lots of cool stuff on the website.
Trying. So as soon as Mr. Hill can get it up there, we'll show you. But basically what we've done is there's a statutory requirement for the county treasurer to put a graph that shows the distribution of taxes on the tax bills. But there's a significant portion of the Richland County residents who own property that do not see that because they have an escrow account. So we've taken that information that's already in our system and applied it to the website to show a breakdown similar to in fact, it's the exact same graph that is used on the tax bills. We also added some numerical information where it's the percentage total, the similar percentage that's on the graph. It's what it would cost for each entity, what it costs the taxpayer for each entity per year, per half year, and then actually per day. Broken down. So that went live yesterday. And it's just another thing that we're trying to do to give as much information to the county residents on our website as possible.
Just a note for Carl and Al, if you look at that, I talked to Pat yesterday about this. This mirrors the bill from the treasurer's office. And if you look at Richland County, I want to be clear, that doesn't necessarily mean Richland County commissioners by way of the county general fund. That would include county agencies that are receiving a levy not named the Mansfield Richland Library. So you're talking about New Hope, Children's Services, other county levies, Area Agency on Aging. So again, less than 5% of that pie would actually be coming to the Richland County General Fund or the Commissioner's Office. So need to be clear. What's that? Mental health, right? So
Soon to be parks.
Parks will be on there a little bit.
And what we're going to try to accomplish next year, because it might take them a while, is we're going to try to come up with either a graph or like a numerical breakdown that's above the graph that will show each entity what their percentage is, what their taxes that they're going to receive just like it is, but then even a breakdown of not just the county,
That'll be great.
where that breakdown goes, but for each entity, for an example, like the school district, for Lexington School, it will show what the bonded debt is of the taxes and whatever other type of, like an emergency levy, if that's on there. So we're gonna try to provide even more information. But that's something that no one has yet. So it'll take our vendor probably a little bit of time to come up with that. But the information's all within the system and I don't see a reason why it can't be
Bring greater transparency to our taxpayers.
as much as I can.
And I noticed when you hover the cursor over one of the sections, it pulls it out and it gives a little more information there as well.
Right.
If you click on that, it pulls it out. So that was kind of clever animation.
You like that?
I like that. I like stuff that moves.
Good job, Aaron. Good job. Aaron and Pat today get a solid A minus. Solid A minus.
So Mr. Hill wanted to know if you have a booster up there.
Yeah,
I borrowed my daughter's. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
at least you're doing just all right.
Last I checked, you weren't starting center for the Cleveland
No, I'm not.
Cavaliers.
Got nothing, so.
I think this is a great idea. It shows people where the tax money goes.
Yeah, and you know, that's
I wanna know that.
the website as much as we can for that, not just for taxes, but for anything.
As I continue to say, when I got tagged by friends on Facebook about their property taxes, I said, you're tagging the wrong person. It's not the Richland County.
County treasurer,
I said, those are going to your schools, pal. I got tagged by several people.
Are any other counties doing this?
there's some, I'm not sure which ones there are, but there's some that have maybe not exactly the way we do.
We're on the cutting edge, right?
Yep.
In county, as always.
Try. But
Better be-
support, it makes it a lot easier.
Al, what do you think? Any questions?
No, looks good to me.
Those look good. Very cool.
It's unfortunate that it makes Lexington look like a hungry packer up here.
Not my property.
I gotta guess whose it is.
It's not mine either,
No.
because my taxes are higher than
My
that.
brother.
I looked up mine after you suggested it.
Carl, what do you think?
Yeah, Pat, where do you click on your main website to begin to drill down to that page?
When you pull the property up, go to the right-hand side, and it'll say tax, there'll be a tag that says tax distribution. Just click on that.
So you have to go in the auditors.
I'm sending it to you guys right now. It's highlighted in the, I'll send it right to you guys.
And as a resident of the Lexington School District, the Pac-Man reference is highly accurate. I'll just point that out, but
That's all of them. You depend, no matter where you're at.
well, but they passed, and I'm gonna be political for a minute. They passed a bond issue to build new schools, and thus far they haven't done that. So
Oh,
Anyway.
they built one off of the taxpayers' money. It is our friends,
right,
Mark Romanchuk and Marilyn John, who aren't sharing their state money. So if you want their
Well,
numbers,
there's
we
a-
can give it to you.
there's a long discussion we could have about who at the state said what and when that money was going to be available, but that's a story for another day. Okay, that's what I needed. Yeah, I just want to know how to get to it so I could get a screen grab and show it to folks. Thanks.
I sent it to you guys already.
Thanks, Tony.
Yep.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Al. Thanks, Aaron, Matt, and Patrick Dropsy.
Safe trip.
Thank you,
Solid A minus for Aaron and Pat today.
guys.
He's in mourning right now, just like I am. The Lakers get their ass kicked.
That's a good thing. So they down 0-2, huh?
No, just on
1. Okay.
I think it's just really cool how those guys always do a greater service to our taxpayers.
We're cutting edge, baby. County's never been better. You can quote that, Alan Carl. County's never been better. Financially, technologically, and people are noticing it.
So. Okay, next order of business is to certify the record of proceedings for May 16th.
Second,
Commissioner Mears,
Yes,
Commissioner Banks,
Yes,
Commissioner Barrow,
yes.
a motion to approve requisitions.
Daryl,
sure.
second,
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow.
Yes.
I have a motion to approve weekly transfer and appropriations.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Mears, Commissioner Banks, Commissioner Barrow.
Yes.
I have a probationary employee at Dayspring who's missed a lot of work, no shows. I have a motion to approve the termination.
Yes, you can.
Second.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow.
Yes.
Next, before us, there's a motion to approve a notice of ARPA award for the elevator project at $641,281. Like to give us a background on that. Mr. Keller? Appreciate it.
Sure, I'll get started. This is for the complete modernization and repair of the east and west elevators here in the county administration building. Last few months have been a little frustrating with some delays and issues with aging elevators. So this is going to be a complete modernization, again, of both elevators. You're gonna know there's going to be internal structural repairs that we will not see once completed. There's going to be the replacement of electrical panels, which is a big part of the need, a big reason for some of the delays. And then, the public will also notice that the cabs themselves are going to be updated cosmetically, new paneling, new LED lighting, new flooring. We're frustrated that this can't be sooner, but we are bound by some supply chain and demand. Issues. But we expedited this as much as is within the county's power. And in fact, the commissioner's action last Tuesday made this possible to get this signed today. TK Elevator has been doing pre-engineering prior to this date, so the ball has been rolling. And we're looking forward to getting this completed as soon as practically possible.
So do we know when they expect to start, how long they'll be down? Till they're finished?
So they're gonna start on the west elevator, which is down as we speak. So they'll get that up and running before they start anything on,
When will that start? Do we know?
they said what, 9 months, correct?
Yeah, the contract extends through, I think, April 30 of 20.
They're starting in 9 months or they'll be complete in 9 months?
Starting in 9 months.
Starting in 9 months, and then it's 3 months to complete one elevator.
It's all custom.
So what's the end date in the contract? Cause that wasn't in my packet.
I believe April 30, 2020.
24, okay,
I don't have the contract in front of me because I'm not gonna duplicate it till it's signed.
right.
So once they start, each one will be down for how long?
Approximately
Originally,
3 months.
they told us 3 months per elevator.
I believe they have obviously some wiggle room built into that time, and they're going to make the repairs consecutively. So they're not going to touch the one while they're working on the other. So as to obviously keep accessibility via elevator to all of our floors.
Thoughts on, look, we need elevators for those who have physical needs or who just want to use the elevator. And I've had a couple people stop us in the hall, as I'm sure all of you have. And the message is, look, we know, we're not just Band-Aiding these things, we're gonna completely redo them. But what are your guys' thoughts about putting a sign on there just to say, hey, new elevators approved due to supply chain issues, there will be issue, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Just so people know that we're not being neglectful with respect to the needs of people who come to the building. I don't know, something I thought about.
I think we keep explaining it.
Yeah, I heard.
So maybe we can discuss that a little bit. So that way it's like, hey, we're not just being ignorant of this. It's just there are major supply chain issues and we're on it. Fast as today's culture, economics allow it. Okay,
Motion to approve the notice of ARPA award.
I'll make it.
Second.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow.
Yes.
Okay, the next order of business then is to approve the contract with TK Elevator Corporation.
So move.
Second,
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
yes.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
Now we've got a roof project we're talking about with Garland. A recap of that.
So we're gonna do the auto title and engineers building. That's a coating, it's a roof coating. And then they'll also do here to courthouse and it'll finish up the courthouse. It's a roof coating on above the penthouse there. And then they're doing a small project in the back on the gated lot.
You might explain penthouse is not a penthouse. It's
It's a
nickname for the utilities.
utilities room where all the HVAC equipment's at.
Good clarification.
Don't create rumors.
We're looking at $190,947, which will be paid for by,
It's in the reinvestment.
not out of your budget.
So move.
Second,
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
yes.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
And the last order of business is seasonal workers for building maintenance.
Yeah,
Address that.
I interviewed 3 young men that were interested in the position and I chose Jamison Myers to bring up here to, you guys approve his hire. He would start May 30th. And work for approximately 14 weeks or until he has to return to school. He finished up his freshman year at Ohio Wesleyan and he'll be going back in the fall. It'd be $15 an hour and it'd be 40 hours a week.
Be studying anything maintenance or engineering related?
Not at this time, no.
Start date.
May 30th?
30th.
So move.
Second,
Right here.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
yes.
Commissioner Vero.
Al, any questions on any of that business? Still there?
He's still there, but
I have some other.
Yeah, I'm trying. My fingers aren't good on touch screens.
Okay.
Yeah, where are those companies from? The elevator and the Garland DBS.
So Tyson Krupp, TKE is out of Westerville. Garland is,
I'm looking at Cleveland, Ohio, East 91st Street.
I think they're.
yeah.
And that's Garland.
Yeah, that's Garland.
Not Gates.
The contract would have Garland Jess's address on there.
Okay, and
Differs the
these are as a result of that group purchasing thing you approved Tuesday.
yes,
Okay, other than that, I think that's all I had. Thank you.
Did you get Garland's location, Al, or do you still need that?
Garland, this one, yeah.
I thought you said Cleveland.
Let me, no,
This is not it right here?
this is it. I'm gonna get it for you here. It is Cleveland. Maybe somebody else said Cleveland. So yes, Cleveland. Thank you.
Carl, any questions?
Yeah, as someone who was stuck for the first time in the county building elevator in 1990, tell me a little bit about the history of these elevators. I mean, obviously, is this the original equipment that when the building was built, and how much has been, what exactly has gone wrong that both of them are failing at roughly the same time?
So over the years, they have replaced some of the electrical components and done repairs as needed. This will be a complete overhaul of the electric panel and a lot of the rise part.
And a facelift, Al. Carl.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got complete overhaul of electric panel, but then the sound kind of dragged on me.
So then they're doing the electric panels, they're doing some fixing on the motors and that kind of stuff.
And these are cable elevators and hoistways, Carl, so they're not, for example, hydraulic elevators. That's what we have down at Mulberry. These are run by
Okay, when they're finished, when the work is finished, will they be faster?
No, they're not gonna be any faster. We'll have both of them up and running, so that will.
It's not the Hancock building, Carl.
Hey, I'm just checking. It's been, the elevators in that building have stumped me for a long time, just in terms of the floor numbering systems. I've ridden up and down trying to figure out
Me
where the hell I'm
both.
going.
1, 2, 1.
I still get L2 and
Yeah.
L1.
That's why I just go 1, 2, 1. That's all I get in my head.
And they will be, I mean,
Yeah.
as Josh said, the speed of the motors isn't gonna change, but it's going to be a faster response time.
Yes.
Because both will be operational and therefore you're gonna have less traffic getting on and off on each floor on any one elevator.
A new control panel buttons you put, yeah.
Inside and out.
Oh,
We'll have new, in the hallway still have panels also.
When did you notice that these elevators were starting to fail? It seems like this has been kind of an ongoing issue. When was this first detected?
When did you get stuck, Carl? 1990?
Yeah, 1990. And then when I made a mistake and I got off on L2 and I realized when I was in the jail that it was the wrong place. But please go ahead.
Well, I've been here 2 years and we've had issues since I've been here.
You had them before you got here. Al, this is just another capital investment and a long line of capital investments this office has approved since Marilyn, Daryl and I came in 2017 and Cliff a few years ago. I can share you the numbers. They're staggering, the amount of capital investment. I'm not talking ARPA or just capital by way of general fund. I'm talking expenses out of the Richland County Reinvestment or Capital Fund. To give you a compare and contrast, because I'm doing by the numbers after we get this is the time of year where I kind of go over our financials. Give me a second here, and then that'll segue into something else. So what I wanted to do as I looked and went around the county is compared and contrast as to where we were and where we are. So what I did is I looked at capital expenses out of the Richland County Reinvestment Fund, and that's Fund 100. So this is all verifiable. I'm not making this up. I have the screenshots from 2013. So that's 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, Carl?
Yep.
Getting it from in the years 13, 14, 15, and 16. That's 4 years. The
Yep.
Richland County Commissioners spent a whopping total of $73,141 on their county. In the years of 2019 through 2022, the Richland County Commissioners have spent $5,984,203 in capital investment in Richland County. That is an 8,802% increase in capital investment in their county. And that's strictly out of Fund 100. It is astronomical. And this is just another in a long line of efforts that Maryland certainly got the ball rolling and Cliff has carried it on. That the commissioners have approved. I had a comment the other day from someone who went and early voted for the first time. They said those signs out there were unbelievable. They drove in, you had arrows to the Richland County Board of Elections. And you're just seeing the investment everywhere. If you go over to Peoples, obviously you've seen the new 911, you've seen our EOC center. There's some floor improvements taking place. And again, I said it earlier, and I understand how it sounds because I'm the one saying it. This county has, in my opinion, It's been about as good as it's ever been financially. Partnerships between Democrats and Republicans. The ball is rolling in Richland County and there's more to come. And we're excited to work with Jody Perry. I won't speak for you guys, but I just think the community's moving in the right direction and I have all the numbers to back up what I am saying. And it's staggering. And that'll be a segue into what I have next once your questions are done.
Well, just since you brought it up, the Fund 100 capital expenditures, does that include ARPA or no, or is ARPA
Nope.
separate from?
No,
Fund
if you
100?
want to include ARPA, our capital monies are going up, up, up. And I didn't want to do that, Carl, and I'll tell you why. Because people who maybe aren't fond of this office or in a different political party could say, well, that's all that government money you're getting. No, it is not. That is straight Fund 100, apples to apples comparison. And in fact, there was 1 year between 2013 and 2016. I'm looking at it right now. Hold on a second. 2013, the Richland County Commissioners spent $5,000 in capital expenses out of Fund 100. $5,000.
Couldn't even get a used car with that.
No. And I have the screenshot if you want to see it. So this isn't me making it up.
Hey,
Right, but
Tony,
then just to clarify, the capital that you're spending on the elevators is ARPA, so
It
that's
is.
not part of that's not part of what specifically you're talking about.
But the roof, the roofs.
The roof is,
Is capital projects.
okay.
Go ahead, Al.
yeah, Tony, was the lack of spending a matter of that they didn't have the money or didn't spend it, or is your spending the result of your being frugal and putting more money aside?
They didn't have the money. And I know there was a fiscal crisis, but that was 2009 and 2010. And to be fair to the commissioners who held the seats prior, I wanted to get as far away from the fiscal crisis as possible. And I do feel, Al, those appropriations or expenditures are a result of the general fund oversight policy that Marilyn, Daryl, and I passed in 2017 early on that just said we're going to pass a balanced budget every year. And by passing a balanced budget, that doesn't include our carryover. So as you've seen the past couple of years, when we've had good years, we've set those monies aside, we put them into capital, and we have invested back into the county, and all without raising the sales tax. I'll never say never, but when people talk about taxes going up, it hasn't been out of this office.
Sales tax is one of the lowest in the 88 counties.
Correct. It's a 7% sales tax. So we are doing all of this. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, I can't imagine you would like us to raise your taxes. We've had requests to raise the taxes, if you recall. And we haven't done so. It's not to say never, because I don't want to pull a George Bush here. So I'm not going to say no new taxes, but we've done so without raising your sales tax and also paying down debt. We have done exactly what taxpayers expect from their elected officials.
Anything else, guys?
That's
all I had.
You got something else?
Yeah, so that segues. So Jody and Lee are coming up to talk about branding soon. I joked, I said, I can't wait to read the 95-page branding manual. But if you remember, what we recall is we talked about partnering with Chamber and Destination Mansfield and ourselves on a countywide branding video. Remember, I said, I'm not taking credit for this. We're stealing it from Delaware. Because we saw that video and we went to Delaware and we really liked it. Just got an email today from Lee. They have a proof. They're tweaking some things, so we should have a finished project on the branding video, which will be really cool. It spotlights Richland County. We'll be able to push that out on social media. And then I had some content. We talked about this as well. Again, stealing from Delaware. Instead of having all three of us making a big speech about the state of the county, Delaware does their state of the year review by way of video, similarly to what the branding video was. I thought it was very well done. It was only 5 minutes. And I'll be meeting with DRM to talk about that concept. If that's something you guys want to do, I think it's fantastic. It's better than us sitting up here going and 2023, we did this and we did that. It's a by the numbers look by way of video that I think is cutting edge. I think Delaware is obviously a county we want to emulate. And my thoughts are we kind of distribute that or release that if we approve it around February of 2024. It'll be a nice way to show kind of what we just talked about here, but also to say, hey, county, here is the state of your county. 5 minutes, well done. We'll pump that out on the county's website. There could be a little video page that shows how we're doing. We could share it from our social media. Delaware tells us the reach of those videos are unbelievable because they're organic and it's more than people showing up to hear you talk for half hour about the state of your community. So presuming we would approve that, we will blast that out around February of next year.
Nice. Carl, any questions on that initiative?
No, I'm just trying to picture Tony in a branding video.
I'm not in the brand,
Causing all
the branding video
kind-
wouldn't be us. It's not us. I just think it's Delaware's a flourishing county. It's doing well. And when I went down a couple years ago and saw those videos, I said, hey, we need to do something like that.
It's impressive.
And they incorporated their branding. So now with the new branding came out, it made sense. So Lee's been doing much of the heavy lifting on that, Carl. So if you want to get with him on that, but we're really excited. They have the proof, they have the narration, and they'll be coming up to talk to us about branding. So the timing all just lines up.
All right,
Al,
thanks.
any comments, Al?
Want to ask if the Italian stallion, if this means the Italian stallion is getting branded?
We all are. Well, you don't live in Richland County.
Ooh,
I
Yeah,
was-
but I can still appreciate what you guys do.
Well, we appreciate you appreciating it. Just, we're moving forward, guys. We're happy and I can't wait to work. Hopefully if Jody wins in November, looking forward to working with her.
We all are. Okay, any other business? Hearing none, the Richland County Board of Commissioners stands adjourned at 10:22 a.m.